Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Tuesday, January 2nd. Could the Jaguars be getting healthy at the right time as the regular season comes to a close? The playoffs about to begin in just over a week here. The Jaguars, they did lose special team star Jamal Agnew in the win over the Carolina Panthers. Lower leg fracture on that big play for Jamal Agnew. That's awful for him. You know, he's dealt with a lot of injuries since arriving in Jacksonville. Such a dynamic returner and offensive weapon. But you do have a competent replacement, at least on special teams, when it comes to Parker Washington as a returner. So, prayers up for Jamal Agnew. Hopefully he can, get healthy and be ready for next season. He will be out for the year, and hopefully the Jaguars can bring him back. But outside of that, outside of your top returner going down, things are really trending in the right direction for this Jaguars team in terms of injuries. It's a team that's been banged up a lot of the year, but you got Cam Robinson back this week after dealing with the knee injury at left tackle. He looked pretty darn good. The Jags are now 7-1 with Cam Robinson in the starting lineup, right? Looking like you could get Ezra Cleveland and Walker Little back this week. I think that Ezra Cleveland, if you're able to get him back, would represent an upgrade at left guard for you. You saw Tyler Shatley play pretty well against the Panthers, but you did see him get beat on an inside stunt, leading to a sack early in that football game. Zay Jones, talking about the possibility of him returning, if not this week, perhaps for the start of the playoffs, would be big for the Jaguars at wide receiver. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, the key to this whole thing. He's dealing with the throwing shoulder injury. He did not play this week. I'd imagine he plays against the Titans because this is the game, the season-defining game, right? The Jaguars win this football game, and they win the AFC South. If they lose, they're going to need some help to get into the playoffs as a wild card team. So I think Trevor Lawrence will play this weekend, but if not, he would be definitely back for the start of the playoffs. Again, assuming you make the playoffs. You got to beat Tennessee to make sure you can get to the playoffs. So I do think Trevor will play, but we'll see how that plays out. Doug Peterson said that we'll see what he's looking like on Wednesday, see how that shoulder's doing. But look, Tyson Campbell and Cisco, they've missed a lot of time this year. Both of those guys returned to action this weekend, looked like the healthy guys, the healthy versions of themselves. And those are two players, when they're at full strength, that can be absolute stars in the Jaguars secondary. I think that they played very well against the Carolina Panthers. And perhaps the most surprising thing of all, we heard Christian Kirk's practice window could open this week. He had to have surgery, but if his practice window opens this week, he could perhaps play in the regular season finale. If not, the start of the playoffs. I mean, that would be massive for this Jaguars offense. He is Trevor Lawrence's most reliable weapon, his most trusted weapon. The guy that he has the most chemistry and rapport with in the wide receiver group, right? So I think if you're able to get Christian Kirk and Zay Jones back for the playoffs, that'd be unbelievable. Again, the Jaguars have to take care of business in Tennessee for any of this to matter, or get some help, from other teams losing football games in Week 18 here. But if you can have pretty much the entire gang outside of Jamal Agnew back together for the start of the playoffs, I mean, that would be incredible for a team that has dealt with injuries much of the year, many injuries. I mean, you've looked at this injury report for the Jaguars over the course of this year, and at times it has read like an essay, right? And so for them to be able to be close to full strength, assuming some of these things go their way over the next week or so to start the playoffs, and if you beat Tennessee, it's going to be a home playoff game, that would just be incredible. A season that really fell by the wayside, late with the 4-game losing streak. But now you pick up a big win against Carolina. Obviously, the Panthers aren't the best team in the league, but you beat them 26-0. I mean, you beat them down. You had yourself a day with your backup quarterback in there. You committed to the run. Your defense played really sound football. They got after their quarterback. They dominated in the trenches. And that's a Carolina Panthers team that they took the Packers to the brink the week before. They put up 30 points the week before, and you shut them out. I think that's the first time they've been shut out in a long, long time. So the Jaguars, they have some momentum. They're going up against a Titans team that's banged up, have a lot of defensive injuries. Obviously, they don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be. Will Levis left last week with a foot injury. We'll see how all that plays out. But right now, it looks like things could be trending in the right direction for the Jaguars on the injury front. And again, what a boon that would be for this team as they fight for the AFC South title and try to win a playoff game for the second straight year. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. Y'all have a good one.